if polar bears disappeared? This is the Arctic, the ecosystem in far northern region of the globe. Few animals call this land home. The ones that live here are strong, tough, slow, and sometimes hard to see. Polar bears are believed to have descended from the common brown bear about 400,000 years ago. As brown bears moved farther and farther north, they evolved to fit their new environments. Over time, they became perfectly adapted to the icy Arctic tundra, using the sea in traveling, hunting, denning, and reproducing. Even there, wait for its adaptation to the snowy, treeless landscape. Although they are the apex predators in the frozen north, polar bears are still vulnerable to threats like pollution and habitat loss. But the biggest threat to polar bears and other animals is their ecosystem, is the melting of sea ice, because the climate change. If too much of the sea ice melted, female polar bears couldn't get enough food to build a layer of fat they need before giving birth to cubs in their dens. Without enough food, polar bears would be weaker than they should be, and females would have fewer cubs. Some of the cubs wouldn't be healthy enough to survive. The lack of available food would also cause hungry polar bears to travel outside their natural habitat, forcing them to compete with other predators. These difficulties would cause the polar bear population to decline, and before long it could to dwindle to none if too much of the sea ice melted. Other Arctic species would be affected as well. If polar bears become extinct, the number of winged seals, polar bears' main source of food, could initially rise. However, because ringed seals are really on the sea ice to fish, rest, and give birth, they would struggle to adapt the changing environment too. If too much of the sea melted, ocean predators like orcas would be able to catch more seals, which would cause seal populations to decline even further. With two seals as prey, orcas would move south, disrupting the balance in the predator-prey relationship in those waters. If the changes in the Arctic become irreversible, even more species of the plants and animals would be affected. If too much of the sea ice melted, the Arctic North would even grow warmer, and the landscape would change permanently. Shrubs that were once hidden under snow would be exposed and grow larger, crowding out the tundra's usual
Moss?
Mosses, fungi?
Fungi?
Fungi, grasses. Many of these plant species that are not used to growing in this changing landscape could disappear, causing herbivores like caribou to struggle to find enough food. Without enough sunlight, being mammals like lemmings who make their dens in the snow would lose their homes, exposing them to harsh weather and predators and decreasing their populations. With too many of the herbivores gone, non-apex predators such as snowy owl and Arctic fox would be the next to lose their main food sources. High temperatures would also alter the productive patterns of insects, which in turn could disrupt the migration and breeding patterns of northern birds who eat insects. Effects like these would begin in the Arctic and spread like a web into different environments. Snow stays cold because white color reflects the heat of the sun, sending it back to space because bodies of water like the ocean are darker than snow. They absorb the heat of the sun, which warms the water. Then in a cycle, the warm water causes more sea ice to melt. Water absorbs heat, sunlight absorbs sunlight, sea ice reflects heat. The cycle could continue until all the ice has thawed. The neighboring ecosystems could change and their animals could disappear. Then this chain event would roll onward, affecting all the different ecosystems from the redwood forest to the hot deserts to the frozen Arctic until we are no longer able to stop it. Fortunately, we still have time to save polar bears and slow the loss of Arctic ice. Scientists and researchers are still working hard to find solutions and educate the public about how ecosystems and organisms are connected to one another. The best way for you to help learn everything you can climate change and how it affects environments like Arctic. Taking action will lessen its devastating effects, and maybe we find the answer to saving polar bears has been right in front of us all along.